Good evening, everybody. I'd like to bring the Board of Selectmen's meeting for July 8th, 2021 to order. First item on our agenda this evening is a special permit hearing to consider the application of David Landau and J.D. Landau Co-Trust Nacella Family 2006 Trust located at 74 East Main Street. I move that we open the hearing, the special permit hearing to consider the application of David Landau and J.D. Landau, Co-Trust Nacella Family 2000 Trust, located at 74 East Main Street, and to waive the reading of the notice to be incorporated into the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I am the person proposing this, and we spoke with the woman who works in the Board of Selectmen's office today, that Landau information is not quite correct. And it was actually a typo error here, as opposed to the way it reads on the deed. It should be Landau and Joshua David Nacella. Joshua David. Just so legally it will be in the right.
Okay, so it should be Landau,
And Joshua D. Nacella.
Joshua D.
She said she made the correction, but it didn't flow through, I guess, to your people.
Okay, thank
Make a
you.
motion, we should have to change in the record. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let's make sure it's legal.
Yes, and we'll come back.
So, do you have someone else speaking for you this evening?
No.
All righty. So, your application,
200.
Oh, no, it's not her application.
No, okay, never mind.
It was all submitted, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't bring anything with me but me.
All right.
okay? So it's basically a single-family residence?
Yes.
Okay,
And the egress to the house was worse than this, but we took those steps down.
okay,
And I believe the house came way before the Lincoln Lane Road. And most of the side property on Lincoln is not in today's code for variance. All we're asking for is a pair of steps that would be the least offensive of some of the house that's already in place. It's set back from the main house. We're just looking for steps into the side of the house.
okay. So it says you're proposing a 53 square foot mudroom within that setback,
Yes.
correct?
The only thing that's outside of that setback actually is the steps.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
I don't. Well, Ned was okay with this?
Yes.
You're okay with this?
No.
So it's just
Okay.
these steps here.
Yep. Yep, I know exactly, because I've been in that house, so I know what you're talking about.
So the addition's fine, the steps are encroaching a little bit into the setbacks.
I believe one of the paperwork shows the dotted line that is the actual.
Won't be in here, probably.
Do that one there.
Yeah, this one. Right?
May I approach
Yes.
the bench?
Here?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, as you look at the house, Lincoln is here. And this is the way the steps were. What we're proposing is that we actually go straight down. And we would still be well behind this bump. This little area here is the steps that we've removed that will not go back up.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
No
great,
issue.
okay,
okay. Thank you.
thank you.
I don't know.
All this for a few steps.
I know. Seems so sad, doesn't it? All righty.
What's your full name, just for the record?
Michelle Nacella.
Michelle Nacella.
Michelle.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wants to speak in favor or opposition? Do we have anybody else on tonight?
We have Kate Fletcher, Georgia Barsden, Hugh Page, Christine, who's up, Clarence Fanto, and an iPhone 3. I'm not sure who that is.
Well, hearing none, I move that we close the hearing for deliberation of the board.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I make a motion, we accept the proposal of the, whatever is proposed.
I'll second.
All those
Sorry,
in
that was
favor?
inartful, but you know, I'm not very good at this.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 right, well, thank you very much,
Okay,
Michelle.
build these steps.
You want your plans back? You want the set of plans back?
I'll take your paper.
What?
I'll take your paper.
Yeah, no, I just, it'll be
Might be
recycled
useful
otherwise.
to you.
I do collect paper. I belong to that generation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All righty, so in consideration of Kate's schedule, the next item on the agenda is the Fountain Committee update. Kate, are you with us?
I am, hold on one second.
iPhone 3.
Interesting. I stepped in the hall. Lights go out. Can I go out that door?
Can you hear me?
Yes?
There's an echo on my end, so it's a little strange. So this will be very brief. Try and keep it to 5 minutes. Basically, we've got the sign posted.
Which vet are we using?
A new one over in Housatonic.
Okay.
So we've had discussion of the plantings along with Hillary Deely, president of the Laurel Hill Association, and she had really helpful input. So that was good. We did the Basin Excavation, which was just basically digging down to see what was underneath the basin. And that was in May. And basically what we found was that all there is underneath the basin is crumbling brick. So there's no support there at all. And I think that Mike Canales is working on that along with Bob Jones. I don't know if you've talked to Bob, Mike, but Bob, when I talked to him yesterday, said he's more than happy to, touch base with you on that and offer any input. He has,
Do you have his number or know where to find him?
Bob is here with us, Kate.
oh,
Yeah.
Did he log on? Bob, are you here?
No, he's visiting us here, and I spoke to him before the meeting.
Oh, okay. Hey, Bob. All right, that's great. So, and then I know that, Mike, you're working on the plumbing with Mike Buffoni. So that's all good. In terms of the actual work, this is Jeff, our new vet, Patrick. This is Jeff Gulick, and he has finished cleaning off the cat and dog, as well as the second tier with the serpent and the bird. Fun fact, I think the dog is a male and the cat is a female. And the cat has just caught a rat. Maybe that's the source of the tension. I don't know. So, and what Jeff is working on there is the mold. So the mold making is in process. And I heard a lot about the wing on that bird that you see in his right hand, and that given the way the sculpture was done, that mold, that wing has proved to be challenging. But Jeff also said that the sculpture was really well done. So that was nice to hear. Let's see. We, as you know, we were awarded a CPA grant, and many thanks to the residents of Stockbridge for their generous support. And Roxanne, you wanted us to work on fundraising, and I have been working on fundraising, and we received a nice contribution.
Okay, just 1 second though. If we're going to do fundraising, we have to create a gift account, correct?
Well, we create a gift account for any. That you don't have to
Vote
do
on.
any, there's no statutory.
We don't vote on it?
No.
Right,
The
so,
account is that, Kate, accept the gift and create a gift account. Yes.
right, so I did talk to Mike about that, Patrick, and I have a check that I will bring down tomorrow as the first deposit in that gift account. So that's really where we are at right now. Do you all have any questions?
Yeah, what's the timetable of this thing moving forward? What's next?
Jeff is working on the mold right now. And right now he's on the second tier. And then up next, which he says is the most difficult. I would have thought that the top tier would be the most difficult, but he says the second tier is really the challenging one. And so next up is the mold for the top tier. And, you know, that's where it's at. He's a little bit behind in terms of the contract schedule. He had some supply issues. One of the products that he uses as part of the cleaning was Baby Johnson's powder, which was pulled from the shelves because of concerns over asbestos. So he had quite a bit of difficulty finding the right substitute for that. Apparently baby powder is now made with cornstarch. So I think he's all set with that now, and he's working away. And we've made several visits down there to, see how things are going. And my sense is that things are definitely progressing.
Kate, are they going to be planting anytime soon to make it a little more attractive?
So we talked about that, and given that there still needs to be basin work at the Cat and Dog, which will be disruptive, and plumbing work at the Trough, we just decided this year was not the year to be doing planting. So
Okay.
anything that was done was likely to get ripped up. And the good news is that the restoration is separate from, it has to be coordinated, but it's, what Jeff our vet, Dr. Jeff, what he's working on is really separate from the other components of the project.
So what,
When will the basins start,
yes.
work start?
That's
Thank
sort
you.
of, maybe, Mike, do you have any more information on that yet?
Really don't. So one of the next things coming up is trying to figure out exactly how to do it. We were discussing before that there's a couple ideas of how to approach the basin work. And then, of course, finding for such a small project, actually probably the biggest challenge is going to be finding a mason contractor that can do it. So Bob, I know you had an idea of how to do it.
Well, there were a couple options. One was.
Bob,
Yes.
could you come up, please, and identify yourself, and then you'll be close to the mic?
Certainly. Yeah, we looked at it, I looked at it in May with Stuart Lambert, who's the mason who did all of the fountains. He did 6 fountains up at Tavidians. And he's really, I say he's a mason, but he's really an artist. And he's the one who's been giving us guidance, since the beginning on this. And we dug down and found that hole, while it looks like it's really this wonderful structure, it was really just bricks. They just sort of layered bricks out and then just sort of faced it with cement. And that's really all it is. And the bricks, of course, they're, from the last century, and they're all degraded. You can actually take a brick and break it with your hands. So it's really a complete loss. And probably we'd be faced with this even if you did the work 20, 30 years ago, you would have been faced with the same thing. So that was a disappointment. We thought, I was hoping that it would be a poured bowl. It's not. So a couple options, we thought about possibly finding a place that would precast a bowl and actually deliver it to match that exactly. That doesn't look like it's really feasible. So the thought is we know exactly what we have to do. And that would be to pull out what's there and then do a gunite pool, just like you would a swimming pool. And basically you'd form wires and then just bring in a machine, spray it in, form it, and then you'd have the pool. The good news in all of this is the curbing all the way around the top of it is in perfect condition. And that would have been, to replace that would have been about $30,000. So but that's all reusable. So
That's the market.
I couldn't hear you, Kate.
That's the marble capstone.
The capstone, yes, the capstone, but that's all in fine shape. And it can be done. So what Mike and I had a conversation earlier. I'm going to give him Stewart's contact information so he can talk to him directly. And I know this sort of thing has to go out to bid or whatever, but Stu has done everything pro bono up to this point because Stu loves Stockbridge too. He worked here for years up at Davidians. And he's been very, very helpful. And I'm sure he would be happy to advise you as how to look at that.
And depending on what we're looking at for a cost, if it's under 50, then we could just get quotes, which right now we hope, which would be 3 written quotes from 3 vendors for what we're looking to do and go from there. So with the quote system, about a month to put together and get somebody in. And then it'll depend on availability of getting somebody that can do the work. So if we can do the work in the fall, and then Jeff completes his work, then we reassemble. And as they said, for 2022, we have our cat and dog fountain back and fully operational.
And it's the way it should be done.
Well, leaking water,
What's that?
not wasting water.
Right.
Yeah.
Can people skate on it in the winter?
If you like, you have to ask them to leave the cover off. Actually, that held us up for quite a while because the cover was on and we just couldn't get to it.
Right.
Good.
Right, and we sort of think that going with the basin, that there was this unknown factor involved in terms of what we would find down below. So we always knew that potentially, we hoped that we wouldn't have a problem, but we always knew that potentially we would.
Okay.
It's not a major issue. I mean, to go with the gunlight thing would be
No, it's not. It was just
a better solution.
It was just right. Yeah, that could actually go very quickly.
Well, that is.
Once you got somebody in there.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a quick question for Kate. There's a couple of sage plants there.
Yeah,
So I'm wondering, would you mind if I transplanted them over even just temporarily to the transfer station? And we could always put them back at the cat and dog fountain, but they look so scraggly. There's only a couple of them that are still there. And
I know,
feel
I
bad.
know. I did sort of prune them back this spring, but I agree with you. They look very scraggly, and absolutely, if you can use them at I don't know, do I have to call a meeting of the fountain committee to?
No, you gotta get them back.
I hope not. I hope not. But yeah, Hugh is going to be getting a few more barrels, I think. So we're going to be putting them next to the shed. They had to take off the piece that was deteriorating. So, and they're the chives that are there, and I've got a couple other plants. So
Yeah, no, definitely. They were, they're sort of the surviving from the Laurel Hill plantings. And I know that I'm pretty sure Hillary would be fine with that. And she's just been great it's been great to have her input and assistance and in terms of the planting. So we feel like we're in a really good place there. We're happy about that.
Oh, great. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Bob.
Very good. Thank you. Thanks very much, Mike. I'll be in touch tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, everyone. Are we all set?
Yeah, thank you, Kate.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kate.
Thank you. Take care. Have a nice evening. Bye.
You too. Okay, next on the agenda. Our annual appointments. So, let me see. For Agriculture and Forestry Commission, we have Shelby Marshall, alternate. Animal Inspector, John Drake. Animal Control Officer, John Drake. Board of Registrars, 3-year terms, Nancy Clark. Berkshire Regional Transit Authority Rep, Jamie Minacci. Berkshire Regional Planning Board Rep, Christine Rasmussen. Alternate Building Inspector, Paul Green. Alternate Building Inspector, Matthew Colmer. Cable Advisory Committee Rep, Ron Broker.
No, oops, I'm sorry. We're going to hold off on that one, is that right?
The cable advisory. Yeah, we need to get somebody on the cable advisory soon.
You can't, it's the
You
same.
can't because it conflicts with with the conservation meetings. So we need to
Okay.
figure out how
Sorry.
we're gonna move that. We are in contract negotiations. So with the cable advisory in the 5 communities.
Correct, yeah.
So we need to get somebody there. So how the voting works is we can appoint up to 3 people onto the committee. As long as one shows up, you cast a vote for your community. And then it's a quorum of the communities has to be there. So they need to get at least one person from Stockbridge to these
How
meetings.
often do they meet?
Once it's not even once a month. It's Tuesday. I think the next one's September. So, yeah.
You wanna do
I'll
it?
temporarily do it until we can find somebody, sure. Just to make sure we have our
Okay.
votes.
And as a backup, you don't have to be a resident if you want. I don't mind being on it. And I mentioned it, but they were talking about going away from Zoom. And since it's 7 o'clock on a
Where
Tuesday,
did they meet? Lee?
the next one's supposed to be here. So
Oh,
it's
good.
supposed to rotate. So I'd mentioned to them if they were, the Stockbridge, but if they kept it remote participation, I wouldn't mind. I've actually done 2 contract negotiations with
Okay,
cable. One
better
with
than-
Clarksburg, one in North Adams.
yeah.
But we could both attend, but we cast one vote for the town in the end and that, but I wasn't sure if you'd want a representative too, but right now it's negotiation time and it's just making sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, then, I mean, and basically the dilemma here is Ron Broker is on Conservation Commission and the schedule coincides with the Cable Advisory Committee. So that's the real issue here. And because there's negotiations going on, it's important that we be represented. So,
Yeah,
And both Patrick and
yeah.
so
I'd
Patrick,
prefer when you go to vote for it,
3.
to have you go when there's a
You're
vote.
saying we can appoint 3?
Yeah, I don't mind attending with you.
No, I know, but if we can appoint 3, let's also appoint Ron, because I don't believe any of us
Yeah.
talked to him. So I think if we have 3 slots
I
between,
thought you were going to talk to him, but I didn't hear anything back.
Yeah, I didn't get
Oh, okay.
a chance.
just appoint him, and then if he wants to
All right.
resign, he can.
Okay.
Okay.
So Cable Advisory Committee, Ron Broker, Patrick White, Michael Canales. Cemetery Commission, Karen Marshall and Candace Curry. Cemetery Consultant, Chris Marsden. Community Preservation Committee, Carol Owens, Patrick White. Conservation Commission, 3-year terms, Ron Broker, Jay Rind, Jamie Minacci, Lisa Bizzuto, and Gary Johnston, alternate. Sally Underwood Miller,
Conservation is only Ron, though. Right, okay.
alternate secretary. Oh, thanks. I see, Council on Aging, 3-year terms. Nancy O'Brien, Diane Sheridan, Chairman. Elderly and Disabled Tax Committee, Maria Carr, Beth McCormick, Helen McCormick. Emergency Management, Chris Marsden, Director, Scott Muir, Deputy Director. Deputy Fire Chief Neil Haywood, Gas Inspector Greg Pilling, Alternate Gas Inspector Rob Gennari, Alternate Gas Inspector John Van Zant, Green Communities Committee, Laura DeBester, Mike Buffoni, Daryl Fennelly, Pat Flynn, Chris Marsden, Miles Moffett, Pam Sandler, Starbuck Smith, and Tom Stokes. Historic Preservation Committee, 3-year terms, Chantal Rind, Pam Sandler, and Lisa Sauer. Planning Board Secretary, Jennifer Carmichael. Plumbing Inspector, Greg Pilling. Alternate Plumbing Inspector, Robert Gennari. Alternate Plumbing Inspector, John Van Zant. Sewer and Water Commission Secretary, Jennifer Carmichael. Stockbridge Bowl Stewardship Commission, Charles Kenny, Board of Health. Roxanne McCaffrey, Select Board. John Leodici, Sewer and Water Commission. Mike Buffoni, Water and Sewer Department. Jamie Minacci, Conservation Commission. Michael Nathan, Stockbridge Bowl Association. Gary Kleinerman, Stockbridge Harbor Master. Jim Willis, Tri-Town Health Department. Town Council, Donna Brewer. Veterans Agent, Lori Hills, District Director. Wire Inspector, Nick Fredsall. Alternate Wire Inspector, Henry Blanchard, alternate. Zoning Board of Appeals, Starbuck Smith. Patricia Andrew, alternate. And we do have an opening for an additional alternate if anyone is interested. So, do I have a second to these? Okay, thank you. A second?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excuse me.
Christine?
Hi, Christine.
Hi. Regarding, I'm a little confused with the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission because I was interested in being the selectman's representative to the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission. The planning board has already selected Nancy Sosha to be that representative. And so I want Nancy to be the planning board representative. My understanding is there's a select board representative, and that's what I was.
I think it is now you, Christine.
That is you. We just named you.
Okay, I wasn't, it sounded like I was the planning board rep, and I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't stepping on anyone's toes, so thank
No,
you.
not at all.
And we all like to remember that the planning board is a different board with its own elected representatives and that we don't, that's their gig. So we just appointed you as ours.
You are our representative.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for willing to do it. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We have two announcements to make. One is to announce that Hugh Page, as of July 1st, is now our highway superintendent. So that is now his title. And also, with some regret, we have to announce the retirement of the Council on Aging Director, Liz Digrigoley. So I will read her letter dated June 25th to the town of Stockbridge, Honorable Board of Select Persons. I, Elizabeth Digrigoley, would like to take this time to thank you for the memorable opportunity to serve the town of Stockbridge as your Director of Council on Aging. It has been a warm and heartfelt welcoming to assist all the Stockbridge seniors. I will always cherish the time I have spent working with everyone, all of the town employees, the entire senior population here and from home when necessary because of COVID. As of this writing, I must now state that this is my official letter of resignation from my position as your senior director. My time of departure will be as of July 31st, 2021. Thank you again. All my love, prayers, and continued friendship, Elizabeth Digrigoley. So we thank Elizabeth Digrigoley. Liz, we hope you're going to enjoy your retirement. And obviously, we will be looking for a new Council on Aging director. So if anyone has any interest, they should be contacting Town Hall.
Oh, okay, good.
One of the thoughts is right now I do have Teresa going over with Liz everything that she does, so we can take our time and think about how, as we coming out of COVID, a lot hasn't been happening for the last year, and we've had quite a bit of change as far as the our van services now coordinating with Great Barrington. Liz has hired the person to do the lunches, and right now we just have scheduling of Tai Chi, Tai Chi yoga. We're gonna get the bingo started up and some small things. So right now it's sort of in the process of gearing up. So one of my things that we might want to consider, we can discuss at a future meeting, is the possibility of having Teresa just work on coordinating the scheduling of the Council on Aging for a few months here as we figure out what's it going to look like with the changes that have happened over the last year. So I think just buys us some time to start discussing and maybe bring the Council on Aging board in, discuss with them, but just take our time a little bit on this one because it's basically been shut down. And Liz has done what she can around COVID, but yeah.
Right. So are they doing the lunches now?
Yes, the lunches are starting next week.
Okay.
Brown bag will be starting back up. Yoga and Tai Chi are being coordinated to start back up, and then in September, they'll start back up the bingo. So right now, we have everything covered, and I think we can cover it right now with existing staff while we prepare for going forward. And I'll present similar with the accountant of having Teresa get some compensation for taking on some additional duties here for a period while we figure out exactly what we want. And I think we should talk to the Council on Aging board, others, and think about what we should be doing with that program.
Okay, and how does the public know what the schedule is? Do we have it posted?
We're putting
on
it
the town
together
website?
and we're going to put it on the website, and yes, we're coordinating all that right now. So before she departs, getting everything lined up, getting it up and running, those smaller programs. And then, like I said, I think we should just take our time and then think about what Council on Aging should look like going forward.
Just to clarify, the job is not posted.
The job is not posted at this time, right? And I don't recommend that we post it yet. I think.
Yeah, we'll
really
reimagine
We
it.
don't know what we're posting yet,
Yeah,
what we're looking for.
Yeah, gotta determine what you want.
Yeah.
yep, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so moving on, we need to take action on meeting minutes from June 10th and June 17th.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes of June 10th and 17th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion and potential action on outdoor tables guidance. So this kind of came in with some questions from Teresa O'Brien. And this has to do with the outdoor dining tables only. We're not talking like alcohol service or anything else, just that. So basically, I think that everybody, I don't know where the confusion lies. Apparently, there was one issue, Ned did go down, and apparently there was an issue with a table at Main Street Cafe that was moved slightly, so there is no one encroaching on anyone else's, business frontage at the moment. And certainly the basic requirement is that there has to be a minimum of 36 inches public walkway. So where we have sidewalks, they have to make sure that there's at least a minimum of 36 inches of clearance for people to pass. I've noticed that the Main Street Cafe has removed their second set of tables over by the curb, by the parking. I only saw them this evening, just in front of the windows.
They tend to put them out on sunny days and not put them out on rainy days. That's my
Okay.
understanding.
But still not an issue as long as that 36 inches is obeyed. And there is no issue across the street in terms of the placement because we do not have a strict 6-foot distancing in place right now. For the Lost Lamb, who has a couple of tables and chairs that are on either side of a town bench. And then also obviously on the private property, which is fine. Elm Street Market has just a couple in front of their windows. And again, there's still the 36-inch clearance. So there is no additional
And is this all,
regulation or, guidance over and above that.
well, I think you guys were here as selectmen, when the original COVID emergency stuff went in place. I wasn't. And most of the folks in the town, I don't believe, are as knowledgeable as you two. I certainly am not, about the history of how we went from how it used to be to where the tables are now. And I think it might be helpful to spend a minute just explaining to folks how we got here and if it's permanent or if we envision it being sort of lifted, these permits at the extra tables at the end. I don't really know the answer.
Well, right now, we're in a temporary situation.
I'd like to make it permanent, but I think it's really nice seeing people out in the.
And if we have a bylaw that prohibits this, then it's going to require a bylaw change. However, for right now, it's in force and it's certainly going to continue until probably the end of November, or we would tend to, I would suggest following whatever the state says.
Right.
So if the state is extending, leniency, then I say we just follow what the state is doing.
So basically, based on the state guidance that we're trying to move the tables outside during COVID, folks expanded their dining options outside. We're still in that period. And so folks need to understand that we're still in that period with the outdoor tables. At some time in the future, when that state guidance is lifted, either we'll change our bylaw and allow folks to continue what they do now, or they're going to have to go back to how it was before COVID. Is that a pretty good summary or?
More or less, except we don't change the bylaw. The voters change the bylaws.
The town is the we, I meant. I'm
So
sorry.
it might be a little more, time consuming than just that we change the bylaw. There may be a delay.
The town either changes the bylaw or we go back to the way it was, right?
Currently, the state regulations has extended outdoor
Yeah,
dining
but
for
we had-
60 days beyond, so it's August 15th. And the governor has proposed legislation to extend it to November 29th.
Right.
So, and all indications are that it will be extended
So
through.
we can have our Thanksgiving dinner outdoor on Main Street. That's great.
But have you had a chance to check the bylaws?
I
Because
haven't had.
Yeah, we got time, but that's not me.
we need to check the bylaws, because I think that when we were doing this,
We asked Ned to do that. He should know that, right?
Yeah, we just need to do the quick search of the bylaws for outdoor dining and
I
then
mean,
just see if it's.
I think it's very,
prohibited or not.
very, very nice to go through town and see people out on the street.
Exactly.
People
It's much
enjoying
more,
the town.
it's much more vibrant.
Yeah,
It shows a lot more activity, and I think it's more of a magnet for people to want to stop.
Yeah.
So I don't have any problem with it either. It's just
I think
that
it's great.
technicality of, is there a bylaw that we would then have to change? And that can
And we
change
could
it.
vote on that to change it? Just kidding.
No, but there's several ways to go about it. So you can have people petition the select board
Yeah, of course.
to change the bylaw.
Right.
And it could go on a special town meeting.
Or the select board itself could just place it.
Or the select board itself can actually just make a change. So, but it still has to be voted on by the voters.
Good.
Yeah,
I think we'll look into it because I think it's a great thing. It's just,
yeah.
looks so nice driving through town, see people sitting in the sidewalks.
I know. It looks like a more vibrant, active place, so.
Lennox has an outdoor dining bylaw, very short one. Something like that we could potentially copy if we wanted to extend that, so.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Any questions from the public? Next on the agenda, we were going to discuss annual priorities, but we are going to postpone that for a future meeting. We will not be having a select board meeting on July 22nd. I will not be able to be here. And we are setting a second homeowners discussion session, select board meeting for July 15th at 8 a.m. And that will be both in person and via Zoom for anyone wishing to attend.
And what's our next meeting after that?
So the next meeting after that, because of the way the calendar falls, is
August.
August 12th.
So we're gonna go a month,
And I'm on vacation that week.
week of August 12th.
I leave on the 12th for a long weekend. So I wasn't sure if you maybe wanted to move up the August meeting, maybe because there's
Right.
not the 22nd, maybe July 29th. No,
No.
sorry, I'm actually
August 5th,
hiking.
whatever it is.
I had,
Yeah, August
I
5th.
have 1 week off and then I have 2 days off this summer and they both fall on the next two.
So we have the 15th and then we don't, the 22nd. I'm not here.
The 5th of August?
I think maybe if we could move it to the 5th of August, it
Yeah,
would make
I'm
more
okay with that.
sense.
All right, so our schedule would be July 15th with an 8 AM and then August 5th with a evening meeting.
Right, 6:30 PM.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
That's good to me.
Motion adjourned.
Nothing to say?
Yeah, nothing to say. Good night.
Everything.
Oh, thank you. All right. Any other questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Good night, Christine. Thank you.
See.